Here comes the boogeyman! Get back from the gym, and there is just a shitload of fucking news, man, in the WWE world, the pro wrestling world, and I'm like, can I address it in tomorrow's Q&A video? But then I'm like, you know what? There's already a ton of questions pouring in. A lot of these motherfuckers are pretty damn long, too. Again, I can't get to all the questions, but a lot of them I'm getting to are pretty fucking long. I'm like, that's going to be a 3-hour video if I attempt to get to all the news and questions tomorrow. So, before I even jump in the fucking shower and begin my night out and about, I figured I'd make a quick little 15-20 minute video now about all this fucking news. I'm not going to get to every news story that's popping up today, but some of the main fucking ones, including 2 WrestleManias starting very soon. I'll get to that in a couple of minutes. I first want to start out with Kaitlyn. WWE's Kaitlyn, right? Celeste Bonin, or Bonin, however you want to fucking... It sounds weird if I say Bonin, so I'm going to say Bonin. But Kaitlyn, as we know her, she is the first entrant into the Mae Young Classic, guys. So Kaitlyn, in a roundabout way, has returned to WWE. Even Triple H has commented over on Twitter and has welcomed her and said that he knows that the WWE Universe will be happy to see Kaitlyn compete in the Mae Young Classic. So she's definitely on Triple H's radar. Obviously, she's been brought back for the Mae Young Classic, but also for Triple H to take the time to go ahead and tweet about it. Pretty damn cool for Kaitlyn. Kaitlyn also gave a statement to ESPN. And Kaitlyn said how she's excited but also nervous because she knows how the level of competition is so much better today. And she's just ready to hang with them. So, very cool. I thought way back at the first ever Women's Royal Rumble earlier this year in January, I thought Kaitlyn would have been and should have been a participant in that match. She was already training at that point as well. And for some reason, the wheels fell off that bus, and Kaitlyn was never welcomed into the WWE for the Royal Rumble. So this is better late than never type scenario, but I still feel she would have been awesome in that match. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. We got Kaitlyn back. Now, all Kaitlyn needs to do is knock on the door of one of her good little best friends, pick up the little phone, call that little best friend AJ Lee, and see if maybe in the near future we can't get AJ back. Forget all that CM Punk bullshit and nonsense. I don't care who your fucking husband is or how you gotta stick by him for the rest of eternity. You're too young. You're still in shape. You know you got what it takes. AJ Lee needs to get her ass back in WWE now. We got Kaitlyn. We're just missing the other half now. But that's really cool to hear, man. Kaitlyn still has enough in her. She hasn't wrestled since, what, January 2014. So that's a little over 4 years we have not seen Kaitlyn inside a WWE ring. She started training again back in 2017, and she had her first set of matches February of this year. So she's still reintroducing herself to not only the business, but especially to WWE. So it's going to be interesting to see Kaitlyn, especially in the next 3 to 6 months, because I honestly feel they're going to keep her, just like they did Mickie James. Mickie was only supposed to come back for a couple matches, help out and enhance some of the younger talent, and she stuck around because WWE, Vince McMahon, found out pretty damn quickly she still has it, and I think we're going to find out really quickly Kaitlyn still has it. And I believe Kaitlyn, too, even though she wasn't in WWE that long, was a former Divas champion. So you know Kaitlyn's going to bring the goods. And she's only 31 years old and still in dynamite shape. So I'll shut up about that news story. But Kaitlyn officially back in WWE, or as far as the Mae Young Classic anyway. And again, I fully expect her to stay on board once that is over. Secondly, I want to talk about, guys, is the ratings for Monday Night Raw. You probably have heard by now. If you haven't, you might have been living under a rock, but WWE's Raw scored their lowest ratings ever this past Monday. Now I know, before you start typing, BC, it was because of the presidential fucking Supreme Court justice choosing, or whatever the fuck you want to type. Relax. I know exactly what helped that low rating. That's not the point I'm going to make. The bottom line is it scored its lowest rating no matter what. The only other low rating like that was back at the first ever presidential debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump a couple years back. But this one was not a presidential debate. This was a Supreme Court justice picking, or whatever you want to call it, a messiah, a grand leader, whatever we want to anoint larger than life figures in the world or in this fucking country. Everybody's some high fucking status. So this justice of the Supreme Court, we'll call him. I don't even know if I'm getting that fucking right. I don't even give a fuck at this point. Because the video is not about that. The video is about the lowest Raw rating. And you can pick and choose and come up with every excuse under the book, right? The presidential debate was happening. The NFL was on at the same time as the presidential debate a couple years ago, right? So we gave the mulligan to WWE. This time, we're going to give the mulligan to Donald Trump in the Supreme Court justice bullshit. But I'm not. I'm going to put the blame on Monday Night Raw. Because I think if you put together 3 solid hours of captivating television, especially 6 days before an Extreme Rules pay-per-view, and you made that Extreme Rules card really fucking extreme, really dynamite, really must-see, and you were also making the card for that night's Monday Night Raw really dynamite, really must-see, really extreme, you would have captivated at least 2.9 to even, dare I say, 3.0 rating. If you cannot captivate at least 3.0, then my friends, you're doing something wrong. I don't care if there is a live broadcast of a 10-year-old being eaten by a shark, and the world is captivating, hoping that he makes it. Somebody save the 10-year-old. And it's live on TV. You still should be able to captivate 3.0 of an audience. At least 2.8, 2.9. Come on. 2.750? But a 2.4 bullshit? Come on, man. A justice is not that fucking captivating. We can always watch that on a replay. All we gotta do to find out who the pick was fucking toot up on Twitter. Go on social media. You'll see the pic of this generic guy showing up to the podium and talking about how he's gonna be a Supreme Court justice, blah, 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 blah. Another Donald Trump speech, blah, 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 blah. That was enough to take away that much of your WWE audience? So again, before you start typing, I understand it had a hand in playing that card. I understand that. But I'm not going to give them a full mulligan here. I still feel that you knew it was coming, because they did. We all knew the pick was coming that night. So we knew WWE had to step up their game a little. And they didn't. In that final hour, they gave us a main event of Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins, with the stipulation being that if Rollins beats McIntyre, McIntyre can't be at ringside at Extreme Rules. Who the fuck would give a shit? I would turn the channel as well if I saw fucking 15-year-old two 15-year-old kids eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and talking about how their fucking day at school went. That's probably more captivating than watching Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins for the stipulation of Drew McIntyre not being able to be at ringside at Extreme Rules. Braun Strowman and Nicholas opening up their lunch boxes and switching off their sandwiches. Braun's giving Nicholas his tuna sandwich and Nicholas is giving Braun his peanut butter and jelly. And they're talking about how they were fucking around at recess with other fucking kids and bullying. And how they're going to defend their tag team championships after school. I would rather that. That's more captivating than what we saw at Raw. I'm not going to give them a mulligan. The point is, you scored the 2.4, whatever bullshit that it was, the lowest rating in Raw history, and you have nobody to blame but yourself. Going into a pay-per-view, and not just any pay-per-view, but Extreme Rules, your go-home show scored under a 2.5. Congratulations, Vince McMahon. Congratulations, WWE. That's a fucking real slobber knocker, as JR would say. Real fucking big-time business you're doing. You're getting the big contracts. You're making the money off your TV deals. But I promise you this. Your audience, check out your live events. Check out your ratings. Bye-bye. Just because you got the TV deals doesn't mean your audience isn't leaving. Don't believe me? Watch NASCAR. NASCAR was at its peak back in, 2005. Stands were filled. Television ratings off the charts. Look where we are in 2018. Struggling to fill even sections of seats for NASCAR. Fans tuning out in droves. Their ratings are down 47% from 2005. Yet they still got the big TV deal. Because networks know that if you can bring in live action sports and entertainment, that a lot of people are tuning in via social media, via their phones, via their laptops, and just staying home more often. So they still think that that is a big momentum swing over things like going to the movies, going to play miniature golf, staying home watching TV, or popping it up on your laptop or your phone. So they got the TV deals. But NASCAR is dying a slow death. WWE's not careful. They're going the same route. They get the big TV deals. They're making the good money, right? Off the TV deals. And Roman and Alexa are getting some good merch deals. So on the surface, everything looks fucking hunky-dory. You scratch that surface, and you start seeing all of the holes in their game. And there are some ugly fucking holes that I don't know if they can even be filled right now. That is a dreadful rating that Raw just got. And if they're not careful, it's going to be the same shit even without a presidential, judicial, Supreme Court justice ruling picking next Monday. That's that story. Then we move on to, where do you want to go next? The two WrestleManias, because I said 15 to 20 minutes. This is easily going to surpass that if I don't get to the main story. Barn Burner has come out with a story that looks to be pretty legit after I've done my research on it, that Vince McMahon is indeed optioning for 2 WrestleManias a year, starting as early as 2019, next year, and by 2020, the latest. I am not, that's right, first of all, let me just reiterate that, just in case you're like, what, BC, what? Yes, 2 WrestleManias a year, starting next year, possibly. By 2020, the latest. Barn Burner ran the story first, and after doing some research, that looks to be absolutely correct. Now, here's the thing. I'm not fully shocked or surprised by this, because we're already starting to see this happen. We already saw the greatest Royal Rumble ever. The second Royal Rumble in a year. The second Royal Rumble in just about 3 or 4 months, right? The greatest Royal Rumble over in, Saudi Arabia, I believe it was? And that thing was a WrestleMania caliber card. That was almost like a second WrestleMania right there. So we already started to see WWE branching out and doing these WrestleMania type events in other countries. Then we find out that later this year, I believe it's in November, and I believe that's in Kuwait, that WWE is putting on another WrestleMania type card. Again, different country, far away, WrestleMania caliber card. The Undertaker, Triple H, all the big hands, all the big players, I should say, are going to be on hand. So we're already starting to see all these secondary WrestleManias. So for Vince, he's probably thinking, we're already putting on these events anyway. Let's go full throttle and call them WrestleManias. I honestly believe, guys, this is not official yet. Again, I just started doing my research when this story broke 6-7 hours ago. But I honestly believe you're going to have the initial WrestleMania here in probably the United States, maybe even Canada. And then you're going to see the second WrestleMania around all of these more distant countries. The Saudi Arabias, the Kuwaits, Japan. That's right, does WWE dare venture into New Japan Pro Wrestling territory? Fucking China. Who knows? The sky's the limit. But I believe that's where the secondary WrestleManias are going to end up. So I honestly believe starting next year, you will start to see 2 WrestleManias. But again, not shocked because we're already starting to see 2 WrestleManias. It's going to be really 3 WrestleManias this year. When you look at the original WrestleMania we had, 34, and then you look at the greatest Royal Rumble ever, and then you look at this huge event coming in November, and again, I believe that's in Kuwait. Undertaker, Triple H, John Cena, Jericho will probably be on hand, all the big-time players for this huge epic card. You saw the amount of pyro at the greatest Royal Rumble ever. They were saving up all the pyro from 2016 and 2017 and even 2018, and they unleashed it all at the greatest Royal Rumble ever. I expect to see the same thing this November. So this year we're seeing, again, almost 3 WrestleManias. They're just not called WrestleMania. Now, you're probably thinking that's going to take away some of the luster, some of the steam, some of the gusto, some of the fucking brilliance that is WrestleMania. And for that, I say you are correct. This is absolutely going to take away from the mystique and the phenomenon that is WrestleMania. No doubt about it. But on the other hand, we get the extra caliber card that is WrestleMania. Whether we like it or not, that's the route that looks like they're going. There is going to be another WrestleMania. I agree with you, it's going to take away from that mystique and phenomenon. How they do this remains to be seen, man. But at least it's going to be another fun, huge, epic event. I just really, really hope it doesn't take away from the luster, man. That extreme, fucking intense feeling we get around WrestleMania season. I hope it doesn't take away from that. Time will tell, and we gotta wait till they actually put on these shows to find out if that is the case or not. But, again, for the last time, it looks like that's exactly the way they're going. 2 WrestleManias at least a year. And that's just what we know. Maybe Vince puts on a WrestleMania every fucking season. Maybe he's really losing his fucking marbles and going off his rocker. Who the fuck knows? I'm the Amplified Man. Thanks for joining me for the second video today, guys. If you haven't caught my SmackDown review reaction, you might want to catch that. If you want a hunky-dory reaction for SmackDown, then you don't want to catch that video because I kind of went off the rails a little bit more on how unextreme Extreme Rules is and how not Extreme Rules is and how it's not even a lovable rules anymore. It's just... it's dumb as fuck rules, I think I called it in that video. DAF. Dumb as fuck rules. Because nothing on that card is extreme. But if you want to hear the amplification rant, go check that video out. Again, this is the second video today. And I just wanted to spit some news out to you guys because, again, tomorrow is going to be dedicated just to Q&A. Amplified Q&A. So be on the lookout for that video sometime tomorrow afternoonish. And that's it, man. I'm going to hit the showers. We got a big night in the city ahead. So the Amplified Man for now. Much love and respect, but I'm cashing the fuck out. For now! Check you later. Yeah! The fuck are you still doing here? The video is over. Go home, go to school, go to work, go play in the middle of traffic. But get the fuck out of here.